Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk again about Planet Zoo. In today's video, we are not going to praise the game as we always do because it's going to be awesome. In today's video, actually, I want to look at 3 things that I believe won't make it into the game, even though they would be potentially pretty amazing though. This is all my personal opinion. It's nothing that you should take for granted. If you don't agree, that's totally fine. But it would be super cool if you could let me know in the comments down below why you don't agree, because that helps me understand and maybe changes my opinion as well. However, these 3 things are not like complaining at all about the game or what this could be as a game. This is just me thinking this might go a little bit too far. But you know, just let's stop talking about weird things and let's move into it actually with the first thing I really don't think it makes it into the game. And that is playgrounds. As you can see, this is one wonderful image of the Berlin Zoo. They just recently updated their playgrounds in the zoo. Actually, one thing that is pretty much obvious, I checked the German zoos, at least those of which I could find all the infos on, and obviously those which I've been to already. And most of them, including the ones I've been to the Netherlands and also Belgium and France, and I think that's it. No, actually in Swiss there is also one I've been to. Anyways, Switzerland I should say. All of them have like big playgrounds, and I think it's very usual to have a playground in a zoo, because it makes a lot of sense. You know, usually people that go to a zoo are like, you know, families or bigger groups with a lot of small kids. It's a little bit different in terms of comparison towards a theme park, where you also have like adults, like enthusiasts going there doing their stuff. It's way more likely that you do have playgrounds for the small ones in zoos, because obviously they spend the whole day there, and there's like, you know, watching animals is a lot of fun, but especially kids need to move and need to play to fulfill their need to play. So while they are going on to, you know, crazy rides in a theme park, they have something else to keep them happy, as you can see on this wonderful image here, in a zoo, and this would be playgrounds. However, I don't really think that we have seen anything like that with guests working at all in any of the Planet games, or like in any of the Frontier games so far. So we don't have we don't have any guests doing or kind of interacting with climbable objects or whatnot. One thing though, and this is maybe the one very little, I don't know, 5% hope I do have, is the fact that staff members seem to be able to interact with the scenery items in Planet Zoo. As we've seen, they use basically everything to get to areas. They even use a lot of crazy inclines to go up a hill or whatever, even like they go upstairs that are not really stairs. You know, we've seen some kind of actually created stairs out of single pieces in the behind closed doors recordings that the zookeepers were actually using as stairs, which was pretty awesome to see, because we were just literally building that stair out of a million single pieces and they were just using it. So this is the very little bit of hope that, you know, I still have, that this might be potentially in there as one of the biggest secrets they have. But to be fair, I don't really think so. Would it break the game? Not at all, I guess. It would be really that little bit of a cherry on the ice cake. Or is it on the ice cream? I used to come up completely jinx that one. Anyways, I think it's really a very nice thing for the future, maybe in a potential Planet Coaster 2 or whatever. But you know, this one thing, interactive elements for guests, is also something I really want to see in those kind of games. But you know, as I said, I'm fairly certain that it won't be the case in Planet Zoo quite yet. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally led into the wrong direction by Frontier, that they don't show anything of like that. But you know, if they would have such a kind of crazy feature, they would have let us know, I guess. But you know, I would love to see it in the future. Anyhow, let's move on to the next one, which is, surprise surprise, staff vehicles. Well, I have been talking about this already in one of the screenshots, and to be fair, I think my hype just took me away a little bit too far. It was when this one scenery item from the African set was put in one of the screenshots, and you could see that car, like, you know, it was even cut, it was not entirely in the frame. But now, as we've seen a lot more footage from this specific park, we have basically seen that this staff vehicle, which was also placed in the behind closed doors recording park we played in, it's just a scenery item. You can't really do anything with this one. The only little bit of hope I have, at least, is that you can use it as a little cheat code and drive around with this one car, because we've seen this with the Ghostbusters pack as well, and we can drive around the Ranger car in Jurassic World Evolution. But to be fair, I don't really think that our staff members will be able to use it, nor will it be movable or like animated anyways when you don't use it. So potentially as a cheat, but I don't really feel that this will be a thing as a vehicle that staff members can use. However, this is something I really, I would love to see. This would be such a kind of addition that I would think is way more important than the playgrounds. Like, playgrounds, again, would be very nice, but it doesn't really add too much to it, except the fact that you do have a little bit more for the guests, but you can still build a playground out of single items, as you have seen in the wonderful thumbnail of the playground that Sylph built for Koali Beach, so big props to him. I thought I needed to mention this anyways. But I think, with the stuff vehicles, it's something else, because if you, and I do know that a lot of people want to do this, so if you want to do like a safari park, which is very huge and has like a lot of land and a lot of like a huge area that the staff members have to cover, you will definitely get to a limit when it comes to where your staff members can go. So the map in Planet Zoo is fairly big, to be honest. It matches the sizes of what the Planet Coaster maps also offered, and to be fair, you do have transport rights for a reason, and so therefore I would love to see a staff vehicle anyhow. But yeah, I'm also pretty sure, unfortunately, that this won't happen. But it would be such a great addition if we would get staff vehicles in any Planet game in the future, because I feel like this is something that was pretty much missing from Jurassic World Evolution. This was one of the things I did like, that we actually had the Ranger car driving around and also the helicopter flying around. So these kind of things, I think, would add a lot to it. Yes, I do know that the scale of the Jurassic parks, or like the prehistoric parks you were building in Jurassic World Evolutions, are a lot bigger than what you can expect from a zoo or like a Planet Coaster theme park. However, in total, if you look at the sizes in general, like of the map and stuff, it basically kind of is the same, so it would make sense to have them in. However, I don't think that we do have them in. Anyhows, I think, yeah, that was already the second point. Now let's move on to the last one, which is also fairly interesting, and yeah, I'm quite curious to hear what you guys think of it. Alright, so this last one might be a bit controversial, I do agree. First of all, credits where they have to go. This is the train station in Basel, which is a city in Switzerland, and this one is just as, the station at the zoo. Well, and this is the thing. In both Planet's games, Planet Coaster and also Planet Zoo, also in Jurassic World Evolution, by the way, well, you can argue there is like the monorail station, but anyways, we don't really have like a delivery situation of guests. I know that Frontier did try something like that in the Ghostbusters DLC. With the addition of the city biome, they at least created somewhat like a train station. However, this train station is just, in fact, only an in-game train they used as, a kind of fake train station, which is what people have been doing for ages in Planet Coaster anyway. So it's all just custom, it's all just fake, it's not actually working. So instead, people are just spawning out of a dark black hole, just out of nothing, which is a fair thing to have in management games or like in simulation games like that. But I think we've reached a time in 2019 where this could be like a legit dream to have. Like, I'm not saying that this is a must, and you can see from those three elements I showed you here, none of those three will break the game. Like, none of those three will be vital elements that the game is missing, and therefore it's not a good game. This is totally not what I wanted to achieve with this video. These are like three things that I think would be this little thing which would make a already great game an absolutely fantastic game. Not saying that it cannot be a fantastic game though, but I think these three things would be very major for me to really say that this thing really went over the top in the most positive way possible. However, let's get back to the fact why I think the kind of train station is very important. And just don't get me wrong, this train station is more like just a, it's just more or less like an example for delivery or just like arrival treatment of people in general. So it could also be like a bus stop or whatever, not even, you know, it's not an airport, but like these kind of things that make sure that people arrive safely at the zoo are pretty cool. And it would be so awesome to, you know, in the future have something like this that you can actually manage. So just let's imagine you just start off your zoo and you only have like one bus stop, just as an example. And if the whole thing gets bigger and bigger, more and more buses would just come there, and potentially you even, you know, you would even run into problems by having too less capacity in terms of buses to bring all the people in, which would lead into making, for example, a second bus lane or a second bus stop, for example. And in an even later stage you can even build like a tram station, and in an even more later stage you can maybe even increase the tram station to have like 2 or 3 tram stations connecting 3 or 4 cities in the area. And then, you know, the area could be just something that is on a mini-map, and you need to connect like in other, you know, simulation games where you can connect some cities to, you know, for example, there's like a nearby city which is a smaller one and has not that huge potential, while there is like a bigger city a little bit more far off which has a huge potential of guests, but they just don't reach you yet because you don't have the suitable kind of public transportation in place, and also not enough parking lots, for example, and you can just increase it. And to be honest, for me that could actually work like the small exhibits, with having like just little items to unlock, and then you just increase the size of whatever, you know. That would be super awesome to see in the very future. That would also, for me, for, you know, I'm just like always into realism, but also at the same point I would love to see the full picture of it. And you know, people in Planet Coaster have been doing this for ages. There's even like a running gag that every good theme park needs to start at the parking lot, and you can even get empty maps that only have like a pre-made parking lot already. So people are really into this kind of realism aspect of having some kind of realistic entrance to the zoo or to the park, and I think there's not that big of a difference here. Both do need a very nice arrival treatment, or I don't even know, like public transportation space for people that want to go in. So I think this is something I would love to see in the future. Well, now with these 3 points made, I just want to say again, this is not meant to show off what the game is lacking, not at all. This is something, first of all, because there is a lack of information anyways at the moment, and I was like really thinking about it too much. My hype is so real, I can't just, it's insane. I could make like 10 videos a day because I'm just so hyped, and try to kind of channel this somehow. But these 3 things also were just made as a little bit of a notice board for me and myself, to make sure that these are like 3 dreams I really have that hopefully at some point in the future will make it into the game. Because, you know, basically we've seen all of these 3 things happening. Well, the first one with the playgrounds, not exactly, but actually the climbable frames and stuff with the animals is somewhat something like that. So this is happening. We've seen like vehicles in Jurassic World Evolution, and we have delivery management, or kind of a delivery. What is even wrong with the delivery? It's arrival, my god. We've seen this in other games as well happening, that you need to take care of arrival management and stuff like that. Anyways, that's it. I hope you liked this little different video looking into, yeah, what could potentially be as a little bit of a very nice cherry on the cake at the very end of Planet Zoo, or whatever it would be in the future. Yeah. Now, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you appreciate that. And now a special thanks also to all the people supporting me here on that channel, making this all possible. You can see that on the left hand side right now. And also, if you want to see more of my stuff, make sure to click that card on the right top now. And if you want to stick around, make sure to hit that sub button, which is on the bottom right of the screen. If you want to see stuff on my social media, sneak peeks and stuff like that, it is on the bottom left on the screen. And yeah, I hope to see you again in the next episode. Until then, enjoy your time, guys, and bye.